Sai di avere una ruota magica dentro di te, vero? Tua è la scelta, tua è l'opportunità. Puoi cominciare da te.
Come aggiornare la tua ruota? Guida pratica per genitori ed insegnanti che vogliono educarsi per educare. Welcome to our podcast.
Benvenuti al nostro podcast e questa volta anche con degli ospiti, non solo uno ma ben due ospiti da due locazioni diverse.
Comincio io.
Vadi, vadi.
Abbiamo qua con noi Fanny.
Ciao,
Benvenuta, welcome.
thank you. Well, yeah, my name is Fanny. I'm 24 years old. In 3 days, 25.
Happy birthday!
Thank you. And yeah, I live in Auroville, like you, Francesco and Satya. And originally, I'm French and Swiss. And I like playing frisbee, learning languages, and doing art.
Wow, love it.
And traveling, obviously. That's why I'm here with you, Chiara.
Yes, because actually we are in my house, in our house in Italy, in the
Yeah.
mountains, Dolomiti.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Thanks for being here.
In a beautiful spring day. And we have also, abbiamo qua assieme a noi anche Satya, che si trova adesso
Ciao.
in...
Good job. Yeah.
Ciao Satya, benvenuto.
Ciao.
Welcome.
Sì, grazie.
Where are you in this moment?
So I'm in the west of India, in Gujarat, in
Uh-huh.
Ahmedabad. Yeah. So that's where I am for a few days.
And where are you originally from?
So I'm from Hampi. I was born in Hampi in the south of India, in the state of Karnataka. And I've lived in a few places, different places in India, but right now, currently, I'm living in Auroville, which is also in the south of India, near Pondicherry. I've been living there since 15 years now.
Mhm. And maybe
Yeah.
for the listeners, there is something that they don't know, of course, yet, but it
Yeah.
could be very interesting, the fact that you are speaking several languages.
Oh,
Seven,
yes.
eight, something like that.
Yeah,
How
7
did
to
that
8.
happen?
So I started living in Auroville at the age of 15. And I am part of this school now as a teacher, but I was a student there before. And we had many options with the languages we could learn. And so I started with French and Italian. I had wanted to learn Italian first, but we didn't have a teacher then, really. So I started with French, and then we had someone who came also to teach Italian, and I started learning one after the other, and it just happened naturally because since it's an international community, we have people from all over the world. So you come into contact with these people, and then for me, it was through the language that I really discovered different cultures, and that's what I enjoy doing. So I started with one, then I went for the second, third. And since then, yeah, it's been a few years. So I'm at about 7 to 8 languages that I speak. But it happened because of the place I was in, I would say, because we really have the chance to meet people from France, from Italy, from Spain, from Russia, so many others. So I could actually practice. And so it was very encouraging in that sense also
So
to learn.
you would say that the environment and the fact of being surrounded by, or to surround yourself by the people that they're speaking that language and have that culture is one of the things that really helped you in that?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. That really creates the right conditions, and if you are open to it, if you go for it, then yeah, it's really ideal, I would say. But it has to come from you. You have to be interested in it. I mean, that's the first condition, and I was interested for different reasons. So I really managed to benefit from that while I was there.
And we have here Fanny actually that is right now in Italy, so is like surrounded by an environment in which
Yes.
you hear Italian basically almost all the time. So how is it going at the moment?
It's great. I'm really happy to be back into the Italian language because after learning Italian mainly through watching series, I went for Spanish with an actual teacher, a Spanish lady, Carmen, who lives in Auroville, and I went fully into Spanish. So whenever I had to speak Italian again, I was struggling a lot. And now being surrounded by you guys, and just traveling on my own, it really helps me to go back to the language, even though I'm mixing them a little bit. Um, yeah.
And how was the experience for you or for Satya also later in case with serious? Because maybe some of the listeners wants to learn a language and they might not have a native speaker next to them or near
Mhm.
them.
Well, I think it worked with Italian because I'm French and already the words are similar, the accent and pronunciation are very different, but otherwise I can guess most of it. I think it would be very hard to learn like Chinese if you're Italian, French, or English, and you don't understand anything. You can't even read the text,
Mm,
right?
yes.
However, I think it's the quantity that really helped me to become like comfortable in the language,
Uh-huh.
as well as studying the grammar on the side. But I'm a person who likes human connections, so books were not really interesting for me. On YouTube, I found a teacher, Italian teacher from Sicilia, I think,
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
who was telling me about the grammar and everything, and that's how I stayed motivated throughout.
Yes.
Yeah, having somebody like speaking to me, not directly to me, it was a recorded video, but yeah, that made the difference, I would say.
It's very cool to hear that.
But I have so many friends who learn English watching series because there are so many of them. We didn't have that many. I think Satya had a few downloaded episodes from his Italian friends. And that's it. And now being in India, I can watch the season two of a series that I watched the season one in India. And yeah, it's been what, 5 years I'm waiting to watch the season two. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy to share.
Thanks.
And
Mhm.
maybe Satya, being that you, in a way or in another, you found a way to add one language and the other, and maybe you tried serious, maybe you tried learning grammar, maybe
Yeah.
talking with people and all. So in retrospect, if you could give an advice or a few advices to somebody that is at their first language, what would you tell them that could help?
Yeah. So for me, the thing that worked was the beauty of the internet, actually YouTube. So I learned so much, and it's so encouraging. Even that, like, there's so many good people
Uh,
putting out such good material for free. Like, it's really a dream come true if you can find them and then you use them, you put it to use. So there's a lot of things available online, so that I used as much as possible. So something I really insist upon for myself, or even when someone asks me to help them, is to really immerse yourself and to listen. Because for me, I learned, of course, I read and write every language I know, most almost, but the listening is very, very important. So the way I approach it is, for me, I approach learning a language as a native speaker, as a child would. For that, I find the cartoons for the young kids, those are really good because they speak very clearly. They
mm,
make an effort. The text is simple. So to start with the basics, to start by listening to really simple things, to really just let your brain absorb what's there without trying to mentalize it too much, without trying to go into the grammar and all those things. It's just being exposed to it and just listening. And that's something I've had the experience of that so many times, because um, there are a few times I'm trying to learn a concept or some words or some grammatical uh, rules or whatever you want to call it. So I just listen and I don't get it the first day, the second day. I let it be for some time.
Mm.
In a few days, it's there.
mm,
So that's the second thing I really insist on is time, especially when you're starting, to really just enjoy the process and allow the information to sink in, because the brain is working even when we think we're resting, or when you're not doing something else. but whatever information you're giving it is being processed behind, even when you're not fully conscious of it. So the learning is not just happening when you're doing those 1 or 2 hours or you're reading a book. It's also happening after. So that is something. So the giving yourself the time and not really attaching too much importance to grammar when you're starting, but just really enjoying to hear the language, because that's how I really enjoy learning, is just listening to the beauty of the words, the sounds. Yeah.
Ironically, it's the opposite that we do in school, no?
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking exactly
Yeah.
that.
And it doesn't work. I would say like I could learn these languages in law school in Auroville pretty quickly. But when I was in France in my school for 11 years, I studied German and I cannot speak any of it, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, I also have these memories. I don't know you, Francesco, but I started in the middle school, first of all, not before. And besides one teacher who really tried to teach us English through YouTube songs, that was kind of interesting. Otherwise, it's grammar, 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 and very mental stuff that it's like you're kind of overwhelmed and you don't get anything. Like, or just things that then they're gonna disappear because it doesn't make any sense to you.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
that's my experience.
There is not the motivator behind. I also had the same experience with German. Like I had like 8+ years of German. What it stuck with me is barely nothing. And like the motivators we have behind, it's either necessity or enjoyment.
Yeah.
So if we can choose the path intentionally of making it enjoyable, that's wonderful. Or that's how I learned both the English and the Spanish is I need to learn it. So I put myself in a place where I had no other choice rather than learning it quickly and speaking it quickly, and it came because there was a very powerful motivator. And then I learned, okay, man, you don't only need it, you can need it and enjoy it at the same time. So I started to enjoy it while needing it.
Yeah, it's the approach. Like yesterday you said, the attitude.
The attitude,
The
yes.
attitude, yes. And it's very important to learn a new language or a new something uh, because we have many teachers following us, educators, in order to be able to empathize more with the children we are working with.
Mm.
I had this experience the first year I was teaching. I had just one student who wants and needs to learn how to write and read. And I put myself in this situation. I say, how can I feel more deep the process? And so I started to learn how to write with my left hand and put myself in the situation of being in difficult and not like give anything for grounded. So, and I think learning languages gives you this discomfort, and sometimes you like, oh, for instance, for me, French, it's very easy to read, also Spanish. But when I need to talk, there is this barrier. It's another dimension. I don't know if you have experienced it. Like one thing is reading, listening, like you were saying before, serious or whatever, and the other, the step forward, it's speaking with someone.
For sure.
And maybe together with this, because maybe the listeners might not know about Last School, and
Yeah.
a wonderful possibility that is there that maybe in Italy or some other places they don't even contemplate is that one in the same school can be both a teacher and a student, or has just been a student just 1 year before and the following year is a teacher. So maybe if you
Right.
want to share something about this could be quite valuable, I guess, for
Absolutely.
people who listen.
Absolutely.
Well, in my
Yeah.
case, I did 2 years as a student, and then 1 year I left the school to go in a primary school to help and teach a little bit, because the age gap was really little, right? So I preferred to have a bigger gap. And then I came back when I was 20 to law school as a teacher, But naturally, I went back to certain classes that I was just really, really interested in, such as art or reading with people. Actually, it's the connection that I had with the teachers, and on my own learning the languages, studying the languages, and having people from all over the world in the school made it possible. So yeah, that's my lifestyle where I have a bit of both. I'm on the side of the student sometimes, on the side of the teacher sometimes, and I explore it. It helps me in both sides to be on the other one.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
that's wonderful. I tell you, here in some places here is like not contemplating and just listening to this. It can be quite mind-blowing to have
Yeah.
that fluidity
Mm.
of self-education, educating, getting education from some of your peers, your friends, somebody you respect and all.
Yeah, and it also means that the teacher doesn't have all the answers. They're also themselves students. So it makes it more comfortable for the students to see that the teachers are also making mistakes. And in some subjects, the students, the younger ones, will be better than you. You know, for example, we have this art workshop every beginning of the term, and the art teachers are still art teachers, but all the other teachers become student. So they go into this experience of a 1 week intensive art workshop, and of course some of the students are much better than the teachers. And yeah, it's a really nice collective experience that we do.
That's wonderful.
I
Maybe
think
maybe just a little parenthesis around this because this kind of what we are saying can also be applied for people that are in family and they have maybe parents and children or siblings with a certain age gap. For example, I have my sisters that have exactly your age, one of
Mm-hmm.
them, and a couple of them younger. So for me, it's wonderful when I can open up to just receive from them and just say the
Mm-hmm.
things that you have learned, I have no clue, so please teach me. So even inside of the family or parents with the others.
Yeah.
Sorry, close parenthesis.
No, for sure. It's have being one lesson ahead is enough to teach. If you have the correct like intention and the will to share, it's enough. And I think in the school we also value the responsibility on the student side
Mhm.
to put in some work. We're not here to like pull them and push them in all directions. They have a certain responsibility to do the work themselves.
And for you, Satya, how has been that experience?
Yeah, it was similar. I was asked by my uncle also to help in one of the primary schools to do a mix of like history and current events because those are the topics I'm very passionate about as well. So I started by giving 1 or 2 hours a week, and then it organically happened that I started taking up more and more classes. What I enjoyed a lot is the challenge because it works if you're really passionate about what you're studying.
Mhm.
Because when you teach it, you have to make sure you have a kind of level or mastery or you're prepared. So it pushes you also to kind of really be to have certain standards, basically because it's also a responsibility in some ways. No, you're sharing something with the students. So for me, that really is something I enjoy because I get to learn so much more by teaching, basically.
Or to make the base stronger. Whatever you know
Yeah,
you
definitely. Because yeah, and it's always an exchange in any case, right? If you have the right attitude. So for me, that's how it is with any class I am, whether I'm teaching or learning. It's always an exchange. That's at least how we do it. We try to in last school. So there's a lot I learn as well from the students at the same time.
This remind me the experience I did as a teacher in a multi-level class.
Hmm. Hmm.
I was teaching in a multi-class from 6 to 11 years old children, and I was amazed by the way they were sharing their knowledge to each other, teaching each other. And like you as a teacher, you need to prepare the good environment to make it happen. Of course, it's not that you are useless. Of course, you are a facilitator. You can be a facilitator, but it's so far away from the stereotype of a teacher, like that who never make mistakes or whatever, that we grew up with that kind of of yeah, how to say, imagine. And it was such, like, yeah, I was amazed about it. I was like, yeah, this is the way we should also learn. And when I was in last school, I was very impressed to see that also with adults and see you guys so young in the school having this kind of rule. And I was like, yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, what calls my attention again is the enjoyment part, and the fact that comes quite natural, somewhat, even with younger children like this, if given the possibility and an appropriate environment, they do it naturally. You
Yes.
didn't need to tell them, teach each other, it comes by itself. And I guess that anybody that has been teaching or loves learning knows that is fulfilling, both to learn and to progress, to have that feeling I'm progressing just compared to the previous day, or as teaching, this sharing, this giving and receiving is in general enjoyable. And if it becomes more and more enjoyable, then one does it more and more.
Indeed.
Easy.
Yes, yes.
I think to learn anything, it's always connected to an emotion. So if it's a negative emotion, well, too bad, but at least you have it, it stays, you know?
Mhm.
Now, if it can be a positive emotion, like joy, laughing, etc., that's why through game we learned so much. It's amazing.
Yes.
And we try to cultivate the joy of learning and even the joy of failing. We did an assessment at the end of the school year a month ago, asking different questions, and one of them was, how ready are you to fail or to try new things? We had such questions.
Nice.
And they had to open honestly. And some of them it was like, no, I'm not really ready to do it. The question after that is, okay, why? Like, what scares you? Or maybe it's not a habit that you have. But the fact that it's put as a goal
Yes.
to get there, like, I want to be a person who's ready to fail and
Yes.
then get up and all. I found it pretty interesting.
It's very cool, yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Mhm.
Wonderful. So I would say that yeah, a lot of things
Yeah,
came up during
really.
this conversation. Yes.
Thank you guys for
Thank
being
you.
with us and sharing such a wonderful word, I would say.
Thank you to you for
Thank you. Thank you.
having the idea and hosting us.
Quindi ufficialmente siamo alla fine della prima puntata internazionale.
Internazionale, sì, beh, visto per gli ascoltatori, per chiudere, magari così potete sentire sia Satya che Fanny che vi salutano in italiano,
sì.
perché entrambi hanno imparato l'italiano attraverso tutto quello che abbiamo detto finora.
Dite qualcosa ai nostri ascoltatori e alle nostre ascoltatrici.
Oh my God.
Qualsiasi cosa.
Qualsiasi cosa in italiano.
Possiamo tornare in un episodio in italiano, se volete.
Volentieri.
E poi, se vieni in Auroville, nel futuro possiamo incontrarci e imparare insieme.
Molto volentieri. È proprio per quello che ci siamo incontrate,
Sì.
abbiamo cominciato la nostra amicizia proprio parlando italiano e francese, like a tandem.
Perfetto.
Quindi
Uno scambio.
uno scambio.
E Satya, le ultime
Ah, sì.
parole?
No, grazie, è stato un piacere. Mi piace sempre condividere e imparare dagli altri, quindi questa è stata un'occasione per fare questo, quindi ehm, spero che ci risentiremo, non lo so, vediamo, però sì, per questa volta
Alla
sono
prossima.
contento di
Alla
essere con voi.
prossima.
Alla prossima.
Alla prossima.
E grazie a voi che ci avete ascoltato.
Ascoltato.
Grazie.
Grazie.
Se questo episodio ti è piaciuto, condividilo con una o due persone a cui potrebbe essere utile proprio oggi, come un piccolo, semplice passo.
Per conoscerci meglio e rimanere aggiornata sulle nuove proposte, seguici sui social, iscriviti alla nostra newsletter mensile o entra nella community WhatsApp.
E se non hai ancora letto il nostro libro, lo trovi ora disponibile in formato ebook, cartaceo e audiolibro.
Per domande o informazioni scrivici a ruotaeducazione@gmail.com.
Grazie per essere stata o stato con noi.
Ci sentiamo alla prossima puntata.